We're live. Hello. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Hamilton-Guarino here with my pal Kris Fuller. And yes, get in the zone, right, Kris? We're going to do some
Yes.
goal setting with everybody. How are you all? We were sort of hoping you would just chill with us on a Friday night and just
Yeah.
grab grab your blankie even and goal set with us. Whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, even if you're watching this at another time, this is one of our free master classes that we are hosting, giving you some of our time and talent and sharing the love. So as we navigate how our year is looking and what sort of we've been asked for or asked for more of, goal setting is always huge. And one of the things that people say, well, how do you make goals and how do you make them effectively and on and on. And so we thought
Yeah.
February, the perfect thing to talk about is goal setting and how to do it properly and so that you can actually set your goal and achieve it. Because hands up, there's me. Have you ever set a goal and not even come close? It's like you write it down and
Never.
it's like a loose wish.
I
So,
set them in it. I'm totally kidding.
so with Elizabeth's training program, you can too succeed like that. And honestly, it does. Once you start doing really good goal setting, when you achieve goals, and we both are big goal setters and big
Yeah.
goal achievers, um, but sometimes it's little bite-sized pieces too, and we're going to talk about that as we get into it. But yeah, so
All right.
goal setting February.
Here's
That's
who
our
we
jam
are.
tonight. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about our introduction, and then we'll continue.
So, hi, I'm Elizabeth. I am the founder of the Best Ever You Network. I'm a master life coach. I am the author of multiple books. There's 8 books. There's 6 kids books and 2 self-help books. One is about to be released in March called the Change Guidebook. So I hope you'll take a, a pre-order at that or an order at that wherever you watch this and the time frame. So if you're watching now, it's a pre-order. In March, it's an order. You can buy the Change Guidebook wherever books are sold, Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, Books A Million, or your local bookstore. I am a speaker. I am a member of the Forbes Business Council, and I am an Olympia Snow Leadership Advisor. So that's me. Hello. And yeah, I'm at Best Ever You in multiple social media areas and on on Twitter a lot, I guess. All right, I'm going to be
Yes,
quiet. Let's talk about
you,
Kris. It's more
yes,
fun to
you,
talk
oh,
about you.
no, it's fun to talk about both of us, but I'm Kris Fuller. Nice to meet you all. If you don't know me, I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Best Ever You and the founder of Your Life Sparkles. Both of those companies are all about helping inspire others become their best. Like Elizabeth, I'm also a master coach, master life coach. So we coach people, but we also train people to become life coaches or certified coaches, which is exciting. We love that. I'm also an author. I have a young adventure book and some children's books, some written with Elizabeth under my belt. I'm also a speaker, an artist, which I absolutely love. I paint with acrylics and I teach classes with art as well as sell fine art and show in my local area. And I'm an event facilitator. So it's been a while since I've hosted an in person event, but I sure do like these
Yeah,
online ones as well. So that's me.
yeah.
I'm also available at Best Ever You, and you can find me on all of that same social media. Wee.
Yeah, and we have a new tab on besteveryou.com. It's a masterclass tab.
Mm,
So we hope that you'll click that. The Change Guidebook itself is a masterclass. So
yeah,
you can buy the book, and in the book, there's exercises and a certificate at the end
yeah.
that you can obtain by taking a final quiz, if you will. It's not a hard quiz or anything like that. It's very easy going, but you can definitely do the whole book as a master's class in change. So that's exciting. And we have our January class that we did up there, and now we'll have this one as well. So I think there's a pattern, correct?
Yeah, well, every year, and this is the thing, as you follow us at Best Ever You, and as Elizabeth and I get excited, and do we ever, about what's next and what's our next project and who are we going to help and how are we going to do this or that or whatever, stuff evolves. And so we have a great time planning that. And
Yeah.
so the masterclass situation is just, I think, exploding for us right now. And we love it. We love doing
Love it.
it.
Yeah, I love doing this. And we keep the price point at 0 at this point because I think these are tools that people need to have no matter
Yeah.
what. So I hope this is useful. We find this useful. We use this in our
Mm.
daily lives as
Yeah.
well as our journal that we have. We've got a Best Ever You journal, the 52 weeks to be your Best Ever You journal. And so we hope you follow along with some of the things that we do, and we appreciate you being here. So
Yeah.
with that said, here we go. So
Yeah.
really,
So
Kris.
we are going to talk tonight about what's known as SMART goals. So you can see on the slide in the middle there, down the left, there are the letters for the word SMART, SMART. And we're going to tell you what each of those stand for as we go through the slides. And so first and foremost, look at our questions here. First question, we're going to just have a little chit chat about why are goals important? Elizabeth, why are goals important?
Because they are. How's that an answer? You like that?
I
Because.
I feel like that. Yeah, that's a
No,
kid in
hang
school
on. I
answer.
have a real answer for that.
Yes, I
What
know
I'd
you
love
do.
for people to do too is if you have a comment, type it in and why are goals important to you? To me, they are very important because when I set a goal to do something, it means I'm going to get serious about it. It means it's going to be something I'm going to take action on, achieve, do, put my
Mhm.
energy, focus my energy, and get the alignment going with my goals. So I really believe that not only writing two things, not only writing down a goal, but also vocalizing the goal, whether it's to your best friend or to a group like this, that accountability sort of kicks into gear and
Yeah.
it just really makes that goal real. So I think goals are super important, especially, just depends on what your goals are, but yeah, I think they're important.
Yeah,
What about
and
you?
that's the thing. You can have goals in any bucket of your life, whether it's financial, fitness, career, like it's the sky, retirement, the sky is the limit. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think Elizabeth really hit the nail on the head. So we know why goals are important, but if you haven't taken a moment to really think about and reflect on why goals could be important for you, I do encourage you to come up with your own answer, maybe write about it, maybe talk about it, because
Tell us.
anytime we write or talk or share, as Elizabeth said, it just resonates and amplifies more strongly.
Yeah.
So, in tonight's masterclass, what makes a goal good or effective? And here's my cute story because I love this. It's like if Elizabeth and I were like, let's take a little holiday together. I mean, we've still never met, but let's say in this scenario we are, and we're driving because we love road trips. We jump into the car, we drive, drive, drive. We're like, let's drive for hours. And we get there and we get out and we are in the absolute Arctic Circle. And Elizabeth gets out with her suitcase and she goes, I brought bikinis. I thought we were going to Florida. Oh, well, we didn't talk about it. We just drove. So having direction and knowing where you're going is, it's a funny story. I heard someone
It
else
is very funny. The
relate
penguins.
that. Yeah.
I was
Hopefully
there's
you would
penguins there or not, but whatever.
have polar bears at least. But
Polar
but if
bears.
if you don't have a map or a goal of where you're going, you might still be going somewhere, something, but maybe not quite what you wanted. And
Yeah.
so that is something about the effectiveness of goals too.
Yeah, goals focus your energy, I think. They slow you down a little bit. They create that pause we need to focus in and achieve and do things in an orderly manner. Otherwise, you are kind of riding on that wave,
Mhm.
and wherever the wave takes you. And some people are really good like that. They don't want to have the control of a
Mhm.
goal. In their mind every moment or day or whatever it is, but
Yeah.
again, it depends very much on what it is you're trying to achieve. We have worked with a number of people from, like I've worked with world-class athletes before, and that's a really high goal to win this or that or another thing. College athletes,
Mhm.
people who want to lose over 150 pounds. So
Yeah.
there's a focused energy that goes with doing that. It's often with the very first, other than an assessment, setting some goals. Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, and there are multiple ways to set goals or to create good goals. And this is just one of the tools, one of the techniques that we use. And so, just before we leave this slide and begin each one individually, just in case you can't read it, we'll go through it. So, S is for specific. We need a specific goal. M is for measurable. You have to be able to measure it. A is for attainable. It has to be something that you actually can achieve in the parameters that you're setting. R is that it must be relevant to you, the goal setter. And T is that it needs to be timely, needs to be in a time sensitive kind of manner. And so as we go through the next slides, we're going to expand on those to help you understand what the elements of a SMART goal are and why a SMART goal is, guess what? Super smart, really good.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Oh, I'll give it two. Hang on.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So specific goal. What do I want to have happen?
Mhm.
We have a couple of examples here. Some of them are, just
So
again.
yeah,
What do
so the
you?
first
Go ahead.
Now we're talking at the same time. That's one of my worst habits is I jump in. I'm a jumper inner. Elizabeth is
Yeah.
so kind and patient, but here we go. So the first bullet is a loose goal, and the second one is how it could be better. So if your goal was around fitness and you said, I want to lose weight, that's very loose, very broad. It's not a super good goal because it doesn't really create direction. It doesn't really create a success factor. How do you know when you did it? I want to lose 10 pounds. That's more specific. So
It's getting
that
better.
improves that goal. We're still not there yet because we need those other factors. So I want to lose 10 pounds is quite specific. So that is
So we have
something.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in our group who this is a goal, and I
Yeah.
like to use the word release. When you
Yeah.
lose weight, I love to use the word release, like you're releasing weight and releasing pounds. So if you're listening and that really is a goal of yours,
Yeah.
to lose some weight, think about it in terms of releasing that weight, like bye, and
Hmm.
letting it go, saying a good thank you to it for being with you, and letting it go. And then another goal, I think you picked two really good ones here. Chris did these slides for us, weight and money. So I want more money. And again, that's the yeah, thanks. Yeah, we're wishing at this point. So when
Yeah.
you wish for something, guess what? You need to work for it as well. And so I want more money as a wish. I want to lose weight. Those are wishes. And when we create those into actionable items, we're working for them, and to be able to work for them, we need that specific. So I will increase my income by $500 per month.
And
Yeah,
something just before we leave this slide is notice the verb that we use there as well. So the money one, I want,
yeah,
and then the second one is I will. And will is an action, like I am going to act to make this happen. So
yeah. And you can
specific.
take it one step further and say, I am going to.
Hmm.
That's really powerful. I am
Yeah.
going to lose 10 pounds. I am going to increase my income by $500 per month. I am
Yeah.
going to release 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I am going to get a new job. Because I want, and I want is kind of wishy washy. I will, I am, I'm going to. Those are more effective, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Stronger.
Chris? Yeah,
Stronger because it
stronger.
really resonates with you. The
Yeah,
power of using I statements, I, me, like what you are going to do is always stronger. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
specific. Make those
And
goals specific.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so measurable. We can take some time for questions too. If you have questions on that last slide, let me know.
Mhm.
We've got comments in here, so if I'm looking this way, it's because I'm manning the StreamYard here. So I might go look at the comments while Chris talks here a little bit about measurable. How's
Yeah.
that sound, Chris?
Perfect. That's perfect. So measurable. How will I know when I've achieved my goal? How can I measure it? So I have lost 10 pounds. Is this something easy to measure or to verify? And so the answer, of course, is yes, because you'll have a starting weight, and then when your goal has been met, you can check that. Which is why when I look back, I want to lose weight. How do you measure that? Right? Was it 1 pound, 10 pound, 50? Like so, having that goal be specific. Now I can measure it and go, here's my measurement of success. And same thing with I will increase my income by $500 per month. How do you measure or verify that? Well, you're going to look at your bank statement. You're going to look at your payroll coming in or however you're generating that money. And so if the goal is measurable, that makes it a stronger goal.
Yeah, and what we want you to think about right here too is in the measurement point. A lot of people get to this step. They've thought about their goal and they think about, okay, how am I'm going to get this done, and in creeps in a little bit of doubt sometimes and lack of
Mhm.
confidence. Like, oh, how am I going to really do that? What am I going to do? How am I going to get there? And everything. And what I really love to do with people goal setting, and I know Chris does too. I'm saying I, but we, I guess, is a better word. We really like to anchor people in their power. So what we'd like you to do is really think about a moment in time that you've had where you were successful at something, where you did something, and just think about that for a little bit and sort of anchor in that power, because you know you can do it. And just think about what it is that you want to do and how you're going to measure it at this point, not how you're going to achieve it. We haven't said that yet. We haven't talked about action. We've talked about what are you going to do, what's going to be the outcome, what's the measurable that goes with that. So can you think
Mhm.
of any other examples, Chris, other than weight or money, that might have a measurable
Yeah,
goal for them?
absolutely. So
Yeah.
if you're going to move, have you moved? That's a measurable thing. Did I move into a new house? I'm going to I'm going to buy a new vehicle by October. Am I driving the new vehicle? So there are some things that are very tangible. When it comes to goals around relationships, it can be a
Yeah.
little trickier, but you can still work on things. And this is where it would just be focused on you. So if you wanted to increase your social
Me.
socialness, if you
Yeah.
found that you were kind of making decisions to be really nesty and cozy at home, you know, it could be as simple as I'm joining a club. Have I joined a club? And is it monthly or weekly or whatever? And then getting into relationships is trickier because there's two people involved, but you can still develop goals for yourself around stuff like that.
Yeah. And I would also talk about maybe like water or something like that,
Mhm.
where people say, "Oh, I want to drink more water." Sometimes it is hard to think about measuring, how much water you drink or whatever. There's apps, there's different things that help you for your accountability, like Waterminder is a good one. I know, and we get a lot of comments. People say, "I don't want to stop drinking alcohol and start drinking something else."
Mhm.
A lot of that around this time.
Mhm.
And so think about the Waterminder app. Think about,
Mhm.
um, I'm just going to coach here for a second. Put the coach hat on for a minute. We'll talk about water. Take your weight, divide it in half, and that's how many ounces of water you should drink a day. Usually, it's a good
Mhm.
benchmark. I've helped a lot of people lose and release a lot of weight, and
Yeah.
I know we're getting questions here that surround that. So, thank you for your
Mhm.
comments. People are taking notes. There's
Yeah.
accountability going on. People are saying hi to us, and so we're grateful that you're all here. If you
Yeah.
do have specific questions, let us know.
Mhm.
Even if it's specific to you, we're good with answering those types of questions in this kind of group coaching
Mhm.
setting. But notice we haven't talked about actual like accountability yet. We haven't gotten there. We're just talking about like what's the goal
Mhm.
specifically, and how are you thinking about measuring it?
Yeah.
Nope, nothing yet. Nothing about action or accountability.
Yeah.
What else, Chris, on the measuring and verifying and um,
So it can be challenging. So I do want to circle back. I know I had just mentioned relationships there, and you can only focus on yourself. So if you're setting a goal to improve a relationship or have something change with something in your life, you can only really navigate you. And so it might be something like, I want to feel peace when I have an exchange with this person, if it's, let's say, a person in your life that you
yeah,
must engage with. And so that would be something, it's how do I measure peace? How do I say, yes, I felt peaceful? But there are things you can do. Was my jaw clenched? Were my shoulders relaxed? Was I able to exhale at the end of the exchange? And so you have to, in the measurability bucket here, make it tangible so that you can measure it. Because if you're, let's say, this example I'm talking about, dealing with someone that is unpleasant or someone that you're not necessarily, maybe a
yeah,
colleague or someone that you have to interact with, you can't change them, but you can make those tangible, measurable things for you. So when you look at that, always ask that question: how do I measure this? How
yeah.
do I check that this was achieved? And so it can be,
Mhm.
the untangibles can be harder because, like we've said, with money or weight or water, it's, how many ounces per weight or whatever, did you or didn't you? That's
Yeah,
easy to measure. It is trickier with things that are
yeah.
not so concrete, but still possible.
Yeah. And one of the things too in my new book, the Change Guidebook, that I'm really trying to do is change the narrative around change. In other words, help us get a positive perspective toward change.
Yeah.
And because really what we are talking about right now is changing something. A goal means change. I want to change something. And a really good way, a really positive way to implement change is to not take something away from yourself, but
Yeah.
rather add. So
Mhm.
sometimes people say, oh, like I'm going to go back to the weight thing. People will say, oh, well, I need to release 50 pounds or I need to lose 10 pounds or whatever it is. And they're thinking, well, what is it that I can stop doing, stop doing, stop doing, stop doing, stop doing, stop doing to make this happen? And
Yeah.
instead you can do things with a weight loss goal, for example, like add things. So you can
Mhm.
add more water. You can add a cup of vegetables to your
Yeah.
diet every day. You can add 20 minutes of exercise. So flip it. If it's a goal where you're like, oh, I've got some negative energy going on around this goal, and I don't really want to measure it, and that type of feel, flip it. Just do a full-on gratitude flip. Root in gratitude, flip it around, and think of it in terms of what am I going to add to my life? Because as you add to your life in these positive ways, the negative stuff will fall off.
Yeah, that's
Does that make
fabulous.
sense?
Mhm.
Okay. Anything more on this slide, Kris?
No, I think we're good to move along. So we're
Okay.
on to the letter A, and so attainable. And another word for that is it realistic? Is it
Yeah.
reasonable? You know, if you are someone that's looking at, say, releasing 10 pounds in a certain amount of time, is that realistic for you? And same with the money one is maybe a better example, because if you're at a certain bracket and you're like, okay, I'm going to add $500 a month to my life, you wouldn't be reasonable to say I need $1 million next month if you're earning 50,000, or it needs to be realistic for kind of where you are. And so even whether it's weight loss or water or whatever, like you need it to be attainable. If it's not something that you can achieve in the next, and even if you have a bigger weight loss goal, you might still want to bucket it down. Or if you have a bigger income goal, you need to start at 500 before you get to 5,000. And so making them attainable is very important. And so how would I actually do it? This is what we're going to be talking about here a little bit. How am I going to do it? And this is your action planning. This is like Elizabeth and I just mentioned it. And so in the examples that we have there, let's just chat about those. So what am I going to do to lose my 10 pounds in this case? And so I have three little things there: walking daily, drinking water daily, and not ordering takeaway or going through drive-throughs. Those were three things, and there could be more. And this is the spot too when Elizabeth was talking about accountability, having an accountability partner. That this could be how am I going to do this, right? Because it's going to take, and we'll talk when we get to T about the timeline, which is also crucial because if you're looking at, in this example, 10 pounds, and you're like, I'm going to lose 10 pounds over 3 years. Well, are you really trying? Are you really putting that goal? Like, that's very long for 10 pounds. And on the same side, you wouldn't say, I got to lose 10 pounds in 4 days. Like, that is
So if it's
chopping off the
taking you 3 years to lose the 10 pounds and you still haven't lost it, then we need a stronger goal and some accountability and some measurements and things like that. So if you're still wishing for it and aren't quite achieving it, it's time to maybe work for it in a different way to make it attainable. And I think somebody just chimed in. My wife is now my accountability partner. Yeah, we were just going to mention accountability partners because Kris and I sort of are built-in accountability partners. When I say, "Hey, Kris, I need to do this or that," we hold each other accountable. So we're good accountability partners for you too. If you need us, we're life coaches and all that stuff. But get those accountability partners in there if you aren't great at holding yourself accountable. Which there's certain things, I don't know about you, Kris, but there's certain things where I'm not great still, even with all the things we do to be our best and everything, where I'm not great at holding myself accountable. You bring bring some pizza around me and it's like, you know.
Yeah,
Right?
and we like to let ourselves off the hook sometimes. It's human nature, so accountability can be crucial. And same with this, back to the attainability, is if you are making yourself a beautiful checklist or something to look at. So for instance, in the weight loss one, did I walk daily? Here's my little calendar or my app or my Fit Watch or whatever you have, and you can check off, did I do it, right?
And if you're
Same with water, same with no takeaway. And I would even be more specific. Walking daily, is it 20 minutes? Is it 40 minutes? Like, these are just really loose. Same with that drinking water. Obviously, the guide that Elizabeth mentioned a moment ago about taking your weight, dividing by 2, and that's how many ounces. Did I get it right?
Yep, that's how much.
That,
Yeah, that's how much you should
yeah.
drink. So
So
it's a lot of
so I'm
water, and you can up it too because
yeah,
that really gets detoxes you for one thing from
yeah,
caffeine and whatever,
mhm,
and it just gets everything going. You release fat with
yeah,
the water.
yeah.
Um, that's a big one. I don't know why we always talk about that, but I
It's
do. I seem to always talk about water, like I'm the
yeah,
water reminder or something.
yeah.
So I do want to just chime in here for some comments.
Mhm.
We have a person with us. She or he says, I had a large brain surgery and I'm changing careers as a result. I'm still tenacious to achieve goals, but temporarily physically impaired. This is helpful. Thank you for that, and
Thank you.
we're glad you're here with us, and it
Yeah.
sounds like you're You're very
A
tenacious.
fighter, yeah, a
A
fighter.
fighter,
Come
yeah.
on.
Good for
Uh-huh. I
you.
don't wanna I don't
I
wanna get
do.
up into the ring with you.
Yeah,
No, that's great. Good
yeah,
for you. Thank you for being here with us, and this is why we do this. Elizabeth and I talk about
yeah.
all the time, "What would you do if you weren't doing this?" There's a country song out about that right now, and I'm like, "I would still be doing this."
I'd be still doing this. I don't know what to tell
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
exactly. And so just to follow up or continue, so we've gone through this slide with the attainability, that example of $500 a month, increasing it. So what would that look like? 500, depending. And again, this is just an example. You might be in a totally different bracket, higher or lower, whatever the case may be. But again, breaking it down into that attainable, that realistic thing. So in this example, it says join an at-home business with the goal of $200 a month, pick up more shifts at that whatever job you have right now, with another goal of $200, and review my budget with the goal of saving 100. Maybe there's some spending that can be tightened up. And so again, this is just an example, but having again specific points within the realistic, like making it realistic, making it that your brain is like, ooh, I got solutions for this problem. That's key about this, making it attainable.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to understand that as we navigate change,
Yeah.
we have things that we can choose to change and set goals to, or we might be dealing with an unforeseen circumstance.
Yeah.
And so it's really important, no matter what is happening in your life, to pause and really go into thinking right here, as we do here. We think with our heart,
Hmm.
and we think about what's going on. We're authentically us. I appreciate the person writing in and being all authentic with us and telling us what's really going on. That's so powerful, and you're not alone. And then understand that you're going to go where you place your energy. So it's really
Hmm.
important to maintain that positive energy and have tools and resources like this to
Yeah.
bring yourself back to the moment where your heart, truths, and energy are definitely aligned. That's what the Change Guidebook is about, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
It shows you how to do those things. And I would also mention right here too, for all you dreamers out there, for the big thinkers, for the growth mindset and so forth, we sometimes don't set goals that are attainable. We set them way up here and we're like, ooh, how am I going to achieve that? It's like a game almost, and
Yeah.
so forth. And so even if your goal is really high, like, oh, I want to win a gold medal, something like that, and you
Mhm.
might be thinking in your head, I don't know if I can achieve that or not. It is really important to start with those steps that Kris was talking about, those small steps, because I really don't know. I'm a former gymnast. I don't know of anybody who just went right to the Olympics, and just said, "Oh, well, I want to be a gymnast now," without all the training, all the work,
Mhm.
all the everything that goes into that moment. It's
Yeah.
not just like that moment arrives and there you are. There's a ton of stuff that are in between here and here.
Mhm.
So
So
whatever it
true.
is, yeah,
Yeah, and that if you are thinking about that lofty goal, that gold medal or that $1,000,000 or whatever it is that's up there, is go ahead and dream that dream, but then you've got to do the little building blocks to get there, right? Same with
yeah,
the health goal. If we're looking at someone, and I know at the Best Ever You Network, we've helped people with over 100, over 200 pounds. That's
yeah.
not, I'm going to lose 200 pounds by, uh, you have
That's
to
year.
go
Yeah,
a pound at a pound, 2 pounds at a time, and work a process to, first of all, celebrate the successes along the way, but also
yeah.
make it so that you are successful. And it's a long game. And that's the thing with a lot of goals too. It's a long game. You know, you have to
And
be.
the other thing too is when you have a unforeseen circumstance that you're dealing with, it's very
Mm,
important to stay in the present moment
mm,
and really focus on the gratitude that you have for that moment. And I know that sounds very strange sometimes to people, but I can even remember, like, in my first book, the Hay House book, Percolate, I can remember talking about
mm,
um, moments where you really had to root in gratitude with someone so sick in ICU, my
mhm.
dad, with his brain surgery and his strokes and so forth. And it was really a conflict in your brain to root in gratitude while someone's very sick.
Yeah.
It's a very strange process. But when you do that, when you go, okay, this happened, and I'm going to root in my breath and my gratitude and my present moment, and I'm going to take a look and evaluate of what's going on and move on from here. That's a
Yeah.
different way than, oh, okay, I give up,
Yeah.
kind of thing. There's two totally different ways of thinking, and I really I really learned a lot when my dad was in the hospital because he really
Mhm.
thought he really grounded in gratitude and faith no matter what was happening to him. I've
Yeah,
never seen anybody but him smile
yeah,
on a ventilator smiling.
yeah,
So think about that.
yeah. And I
That's what,
think that is
yeah,
a beautiful point. We really do have the opportunity to choose gratitude in
every
almost
moment.
literally every moment.
Yeah,
Even when things are feeling dark and low, there are and I think sometimes the great thing about having that gratitude practice too is maybe you don't recognize it in that moment. I know this has been true for me as I've gone through uh, the
a lot of
sickness,
stuff.
my husband being sick and having cancer, and me being the primary caregiver for him while he was still alive. But the times when it was so frustrating and it felt like terrible, looking back and even the next day with him, I would be like, oh wow, we got this, and we could find
Yeah,
beautiful things within it. We were still scared and there were still times when it was terrible, but not everything was awful all the time. And I think that's one of the benefits of that gratitude practice too, is you train yourself to have a more resilience for when things are tough.
yeah, and then therefore they feel a little more attainable.
Yeah.
Your goals feel a little bit more attainable when you're present, and the goals can be bite sized even if they're big dreams. So or things feel like they're complicated and you can't get through.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of different feelings that go along with goal setting. All right, should we move on to
Yes.
relevant?
Yeah. So, and I mean, some of the things you've heard us, they do start to like weave together.
We do.
Why is my goal important to me? And we just sort of touched on that a little bit in the last, well, since we've been talking about it. It needs to matter to you. So,
Yeah.
why is that 10 pounds in our examples important? And the answers there, please note that they are all positive. It's for my health, to feel good about my body, to show my kids good choices. And there could be more. And whatever your goal is, why is it important to you? The sky is the limit. Write down every single thing so that I can run around with my dog, so that I can do my hair and my arms don't get tired. Like, it doesn't matter how finite it is. All of the reasons that it's important to you, that's the key thing. If it's important to you, it's important to you.
Yeah. I say a lot in my coaching, I can inspire you, maybe,
Hmm.
I hope, but I don't know that I can motivate you because the
Yeah.
motivation for things comes from within. And so
Yeah.
this relevant is key bells and whistles should go off for what's
Mhm.
my why? Why is this important to me? Why do I want to do this? What is my motivation? What is
Mhm.
my authentic me saying? What's my heart saying? What's my energy saying? What's everything around me saying to get this done? Why?
Mhm.
And it can be silly little reasons,
Yeah.
or it can be bigger ones like for my health or whatever
Mhm.
it is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and the increase your income by $500 a month example.
Yeah.
I like what you wrote here: to save for a new car, to save for a holiday, like a vacation, or to build my savings so you could
Mhm.
retire early. So again,
Yeah.
they weave together. The other thing that we find through our coaching practice is when you change one thing, a
Yeah.
lot of other things sort of fall into place and change as well with it. That one little change casts that ripple effect.
Mhm.
And I really just want to mention that because you can lose 10 pounds or release the 10 pounds, and you might find your income goes up or whatever because you're more productive in
Yeah.
your business and in your
Yeah.
day. You might find that if I have a client that I've been working with who said, I hear this 5 a.m. club is such a big deal. I really want to get up at 5 a.m. 5 a.m., 5 a.m., 5 a.m. I'm like, do you
Mhm.
really? Do you though? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, I am going to get up at 5 a.m. every day in 2022. I usually get up at 8:30. I'm backing that all the way up to 5 a.m. Huge change in just about
Yeah.
everything from bedtime to eating to snacks to the alarm
Mhm.
setting,
Mhm.
pushing, everything like that. But so we've been doing this. We actually started in November doing this, and it has changed like you can just check down almost every area of her life that has just massively improved by making that one small change.
Mhm.
And we sort of detoxed her from the 8:30 by setting it back and back and back. Like the first few days, it didn't go so well. I was like, oh, 8:45, darn it, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
as we backed up and up and up, now she's up at 5 a.m. She's doing her exercise right off the bat. So that's out of the way. She's up ahead of her family. So
Yeah.
she's doing other things. So she's super productive. She feels like by about 9 a.m., the day's done. And what else have I got to do? And I love it for her.
Yeah.
So that has
Yeah.
been a really fun client to work with this year and part of
Awesome.
last year. Yeah, fun.
Mhm. So
But
we can't say enough about this one.
yeah,
It's almost like I wish the word smart was spelt another way around, because I would almost start with R.
yeah,
So
yeah,
restart. I can't make it up.
yeah. Restart. Yeah, I don't know what you would
Restart.
put.
Smart. Yeah, but the why is it important to me? That has to have gravity. It
It's got to
it
have some
really
passion
needs.
behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if
So
you like so I'll use a personal
your heart's
example
got to
here.
be in it. Yeah.
Is I in my life have in so since I turned 40, I did some corporate travel. I did put on a little weight. I put on a little weight in 2020 with COVID as well. And then I was like, okay, I've got to sharpen up. I've got to trim up again. And I really struggled with this. And I remember talking with Elizabeth and my sister and my friends, and they're like, how come you can't find the reason? Like, you put on 20 pounds, you know you need to take it off. I'm like, yes, I do. My problem is I just feel like I look incredible. I'm incredibly beautiful. I look great in a bikini. Everything is amazing. I just have bigger boobs.
Yeah.
And I was really struggling so I had to sort of circle back and be like, okay, I do care about my health. I do want to be able to have longevity and not create problems and not stay on the path of continuing to
Yeah.
add weight or whatever. But it was a difficult why for me. But I realized, of course, after is that it was more of a roadblock, more of a myself getting in my own way, because I didn't want to do the work. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, my goal isn't important. I had everything lined up. I had the specific, it was measurable, the time that I was going to do it by. And then I was like, but you know what? I don't really care about it because of those reasons. And
Yeah.
it took me more work, gratitude work, using support, really honing in and being like, okay, why does my health matter to me? And coming to the realization that, yeah, it does, because I want to be that 97-year-old auntie who's taking you bungee jumping. And I need to be fit and healthy in order to do that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the things we can't see that are
Mhm.
turning around, and you've got to think about it from a different standpoint of like what's going on internally,
Mhm.
and not just about health, for a variety of things. It could be, I need to change my job because I have migraines. I need, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that go on physically with us
Yeah.
that manifest themselves in different ways. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, but I get what you mean. Sometimes I've worked with people who've, like we said, need to lose 150
Mhm.
pounds, and they're like, this is going to be so much work. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm ready for this much work. I'm like, yep, call me when you're ready. Cause yep, you're right. It's going to be a lot of work. And
Yeah.
I've had people postpone working with me and call me and go, okay, I'm ready now. I'm like, are
Yeah.
you? Because it's going to
Yeah.
really be a lot of work, and you're not going to be happy with me a lot
And this
because
is
I
the
am an
thing.
accountability partner from, from
Mhm.
where.
Mhm. And that's the thing, is it's your goal and you have to do the work for it. And that's another part
Yeah,
of this.
no one can do it
Not
for
just,
you.
yeah, only you can do it.
Yeah.
So that is all in this bucket. Relevance is huge. Like I said, it should be the first letter of the word smart in this goal example. But
Yeah.
I like all of the letters. We like all of the letters, but relevance, relevance, relevance. And
Yeah.
really have that laser clear.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why I like working with people who want to release weight is because I've been there.
Mhm.
I am a mother of four boys. They're now 20, 22, 24, and 26, and I probably still have 15 pounds on me from having the last one,
Mhm.
20 years ago. So, I get it. I bounce my weight around sometimes. I do, I get the whole weight thing pretty profoundly.
Mhm.
I think with one of them I gained 85 pounds with
Mhm.
one pregnancy. So that's a lot to, the baby weighs 7. There's a lot of weight that needs to come off.
Mhm.
And so I really do have fun with that one if people want to engage and get healthy. And then it has these benefit effects in the rest of the areas of your
Yeah,
life. So
that's great.
we talked about, did we talk about everything on the slide?
We
Are you good?
did. Yes, we
Ashley was
did.
the big
Yep.
one here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
All
think
right.
we're good. Let's go on. So then the T, of course, is timely. And this is just as important. We had earlier talked about a few terrible examples for the 10 pounds. If you said it was in 4 days or 3 years, those are not timely. So what is my deadline for this goal? So in looking at the 10 pounds there, over 2 months. And so 5 pounds a month, and that's 1.5 to 2 pounds a week. Now, everyone's individual. It might be half a pound a week. You might need longer, and whatnot. But then if I'm starting this on today, February 11th, and I'm going to go, okay, March, April 11th, I'm going to write that down and go April 11th. But that doesn't mean on April 10th, I go, oh no, I can't eat all day. It's a process that you have to commit to for that time duration, especially with a health goal. And same thing with the money goal there, right? The $500. So is it by next month? Is it in 3 months? Depending on what the pieces were that you were putting together for it. And so the date for the $500, maybe you need 3 months to develop that. In the examples we gave, we said start a home business or pick up more shifts at work or whatever. Not, again, just examples. We don't know what everyone's reality is, but that you're like, okay, $500 a month. Maybe that's not a February or March goal, but maybe it's April. And then looking at those steps that you have going, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
And April
So,
what? April 12th.
Yeah.
Really specific.
Somebody just said, "Oh, Elizabeth just picked up her pen." Yes, I did. That's funny. I feel when I pick up my pen, things are getting serious.
Now we're serious.
Now we're serious. If it goes behind my ear, we're really serious. I like what the commenter just said. She said, she said, I set too many goals sometimes. Yeah, here. Yeah, my goals. I was just saying to Kris, I think we need a journal that says 100 goals, and you just get them all out and put them in a book. And even if each page is a goal with like action steps, great. But people I'm guilty of that. I set so many goals too. And I love it. Let me tell you why. It doesn't mean you got to achieve all 100 of them at once, but it keeps a record of what you're thinking in that moment right here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll put down our journal, but if Jack Canfield does this too, he writes his goals on his website and they're all visible to everybody in case you want to show up and help him achieve. I love it. I am going to do that on my personal website. So whether it's one goal or 100 goals you have, great. But do me a favor, don't do all 100 of them at once. Let's pick one and let's get you into the attainability and actionable process so that some of the other goals fall into place easier so that you learn the process of achieving them.
I think that's such a good point. Where you put your energy is going to matter, because if you are trying to do too many goals and it's exhausting you, all the checking and did I do it and this and that, and then you're hard on yourself because you missed this or you missed that, taking a look, like you said, the 100 goals, you write them out, get your brain excited about them, but then you do need to prioritize them and be like, these are the 2 to 5 goals I'm working on right now. And depending on what they are, I think 1 to 5 is reasonable. Depending on what they are. I think as soon as you get more than 5 at one time, it is overwhelming. It is too much. And then you're not serving anyone because you become sort of floundering, and then the ability to succeed. And again, it depends on the goals. Some goals can be sort of hand in hand. And if they're micro goals within a goal, there's all kinds of nuances to it. But I think, yes, to be wary.
I actually have 2 journals.
Yeah.
One for work goals and the other one over here that I just started that I love, my I love you one, because I'm like, oh, I love you. And this can be my personal journal. Like, I love you. I love you. I love you. And so I've got one for like the things I want to achieve work-wise, and then personal, and sort of just like a list of kind of it could be like a running goal list to think about. I'm like, okay, I got a new goal I want to do. Let's work on that one this month or whatever. Just like I love journals. Sorry, keep going.
No, it's okay. And sometimes a really great practice that I know we also encourage as well is start with the 1 or 2 goals. Let's start with one goal. If you were going to introduce a gratitude practice, let's say, and you're like, I want to write 3 things a day, every day to start a gratitude practice, and that's your goal, and you're going to test it or do it for, say, 30 days. Then after the 30 days, now maybe you're ready for another goal, but within that, you can say, continue the gratitude practice, because you've already done the work of that. And you're kind of like, I'm familiar with this now. Now it's no longer a goal. I feel I've achieved it. I wish for it to continue. And that's the same thing with any health goal. You know, let's say you lose your weight, whatever it is. And April 12th, you're like, yay, I did it. I never have to work out again.
No. And in fact, in both Percolate and the Change Guidebook, which are books about change, we talk about that. I'm going to add a layer onto what you just said because it's so important. So, for example, when I'm working with somebody to lose that, the 100 pounds, 50 pounds, 10, whatever it is, we'll take a goal and we will, let's say, drink more water. and we're going to drink our weight in half, the all that stuff. Drink more water. We're going to hold that change for the 30 days. We're going to
Mhm.
get to the end and we're going to go, oh, good. Okay, we did it. You're going to keep doing that change so it becomes part of you
Yeah.
as it just on autopilot. I drink
Yeah.
water now.
Now it's part
But
of
at
your
the 30-day
lifestyle.
mark, you're going to add your second change. Okay, we're going to add a cup of vegetables in. So now by the end of 60 days, you've held your water mark, your water goal, and
Mhm.
you've added vegetables. And then by the end of 90 days, you can add another goal in. So it's like, I'm going to keep drinking all this
Yeah.
water. I'm going to keep adding vegetables, and I'm going to cut my portions in half, and I'm
Yeah.
going to walk 20 minutes every day,
Yeah.
and now I'm going to drop butter or dairy
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. One
And
other
that's
type.
exactly right. That's the
Yeah,
scaffolding. That's the layers and steps where
the
you can
layers. Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
not overwhelm yourself with too many goals all at once. But
yeah,
again, I like the idea of writing them all down and having
yeah.
them marinate. Like our brains are magnificent things and they
Oh,
can
I could think of
manage
100
a
things I
whole.
want to do right off the bat. Just,
That's true, right?
and wishes I have for myself and things I still want to do and everything.
Mhm.
But again, the list feels overwhelming if you're thinking, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this all in this year, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it's really why New Year's resolutions are such a mess. I love it when people don't do New Year's resolutions,
Mhm.
but rather maybe they change that thinking, like leave New Year's alone and maybe do something like that at your birthday. Is kind of what
Mhm.
Chris and I coach, is leave
Yeah.
New Year alone, because I guarantee you January 1st, it's new year, and it is the same you with a whole lot of goals. And I
Yeah.
worked with somebody this past year who was like, okay, new year. By February 15th, which is right around the corner
Yeah.
here, I need to, and they said this to me on the phone, I need to I can't remember everything, but it was like 5 things. I need to lose 40 pounds, which is like 6 weeks, 40 pounds. No, that's not healthy. I do want to
Mhm.
drink more water. I want to go on vacation. I want to have more money. I want to switch job. There were like 7 things the guy rattled off.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, we need to pick one. What do you want to work with me on? It's like, well, I want
Yeah.
to do them all. I'm a high achiever. I can do this. I know I can do this. I could do
Mhm.
all 7 of them if I really wanted to. And I'm like, you probably could. You're very successful.
Mhm.
I see it. However, how are you going to feel on February 16th?
Mhm.
You're going to feel so tired from doing,
Yeah.
all, So we picked 2. I
Yeah.
compromised a little bit. We did 2 at a time, and we
Yeah.
have success.
Yeah. And
So
that
that's
is
cool.
beautiful. That's the thing, right? That you also don't want to create that burnout situation because you do want
No.
it to be sustainable. You do want it to be something that you can continue to celebrate. And it isn't with most goals. I mean, obviously, if it's, let's say, the car, once you've got the car, that's great. But I mean, you have the car, but
Mhm.
you still need to have money for maintenance and tires and gas and oil changes. And, so there is still pieces to the puzzle that continue no matter what the goal is. There's very few goals that are like concrete, cut and dry, did it like that, right? Oh, wait, I
Yeah.
take it back, travel. But most goals have,
Yeah.
I've been to Hawaii, check. But most goals have some element of longevity or sustainability requirement that comes with them as well. So I would actually make this the word smarts with an S at the end, a second S for sustainability, which is keeping it up, which
Yeah.
is keeping that, like Elizabeth said, once you've achieved it after the 30 days or 60 days or whatever, is keep it
You want it to
going.
become part of you so that you don't revert back. Um, we've got other comments here
Yeah.
about rooting in breath. I think maybe we'll do
Yeah.
some breathing exercises with everybody to just kind of
Mhm.
calm ourselves back down, because I can
Perfect.
feel the momentum going, because it's like, ooh, one goal. And now here we go. We're going to take some action. So
Yes.
this process has momentum with it. And
Yeah.
when you get that momentum going and you get things firing on all cylinders, that's your key, that it's become part of your everyday
Mhm.
existence, and it just becomes part of you, like
Yeah.
the gal getting up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Every single day without an alarm now, by the way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I like this next comment. I think I know what my one thing should be. I just need this focus on creating a really quality product. There you
Perfect.
go. I love
We'll
that.
go to our next slide for whoever that
Yeah.
listener is,
Yeah.
but the next slide is a PDF. It's available on our website, and this is a very good one pager with that SMART laid out with that question: what do I want to happen? How will I know when I've achieved? And so on, what we just reviewed. And at the top in the little grayscale box, my goal is. And so if you are watching and you are someone that is interested in using this, and feel free to fill it out, share it with Elizabeth and I. If you're not someone that wants to print and you just want to take those questions and fire us an email or something, take a picture, we are here for that all day. And I would encourage and inspire you. We would encourage and inspire you to just focus on one goal right now.
Yeah.
So
The other thing I would add is that, there's 3,600 people in our group that we're streaming this to right now, just this one group that we have that we stream our classes to.
Yeah.
There are lots of accountability partners within. This is a networking group. If you would like my help or Chris's help to pair you up with someone in our group, if you'd like our help, anything like that, we could do some little tinier classes and have group training and have everybody together, maybe some Zoom calls and things like that, and have like open discussion. So if you're interested in a more controlled setting with, like 10 of us together or something like that, let us know. And we can do some goal setting classes and really start to, some accountability classes is what I really call them, like accountability groups. Those are really helpful, and you make new friends.
Yes, of course.
So super fun. The other thing too, I would say, is at besteveryou.com/free gifts. We have a 30-day checklist if you need that with this too.
Yeah.
So there's tons of free gifts on there.
Yeah.
This class will go under our master class tab. And will be there for you to watch on replay as much as you want. And this handout will be there also. So if you need multiple copies or whatever, we've got them too. I'm going to put my pen down.
Okay, that's it. Well, that's perfect timing, because we have shared beautiful information, examples, and explained what SMART goals are, how they're effective for you, and why we, Kris and Elizabeth, use them and believe in them. And so with that, thank you for joining us tonight, for listening, watching, chiming in. We really appreciate you. Yeah, any last questions?
Any last questions before we go? Type them in the comments.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you all too for your support with the Change Guidebook. It really, really means a lot to me. We've had very strong pre-orders, and I'm very grateful. If you want to tell your friends about the Change Guidebook, I think that's really how books maneuver through the world, is somebody saying, hey, I ordered that, or hey, my friend wrote this, grab a copy or whatever. Very meaningful to me. It's really me here with this book. And my goal with this book is really to have it reach a lot of people. And I have a very specific goal with that in mind that I will write down, that goes with this show. I won't share it with you right now. I need to really think about my goal, because I keep saying I want it to really reach as many people as it can. And I think it's time to probably put some numbers with that and think about that. So that it does what it's going to do. So you guys can all help me with that if you want to. I love help. Somebody said, awesome stuff, Kris. Thank you so much. We thank you too for being here with us. And Kris, any last words?
No, you are beautiful. You are fabulous. You are wonderful. I hope you have a fantastic night. But wait, we're going to breathe. Just a little, just a little. So one of the breathing techniques that we use at Best Ever You this is one of my favorites. I rely on this throughout my day, because I don't know if you know this about me. I am a little fiery. And my word of the year is peace. And so the breathing technique that is one of my favorites, hands down, is when you breathe into the count of 4 and out on the count of 6. So let's do a couple of those. Let's do 3 of those. I will count, and Elizabeth will be my little breather. And you at home following along, please do so as well. In your mind, please think about the inhale of breath being light and bright and beautiful, and only good things filling up your fantastic body. And when you breathe out, especially on that 5, 6, anything that isn't serving you, any tension, any stress, just imagine that it is just like exhaling out of your body. And just before we begin that, I would like you to relax your jaw. Relax your eyebrows. And exhale. And breathing in on 1, 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. So when you're doing that, it's always a little trickier when someone else is counting. You can count at a quicker pace or a slower pace if that was a stretch for you, just in your own mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever the speed is. But the key thing is 4 in, 6 out, just to bring you a little peace, a little clarifying moment. And
or if you're having a baby, 4 in, 4 out.
and if you're not, I mean,
when you're counting in, 4 out
this is,
for him, back in
I
labor,
don't
going,
know.
oh no.
This is a mama four. It's been ingrained in her, right? Every now and then she'll do. So I have no kids. I love kids. I have lots of kids in my
You
life,
have
but every
my
now and
kids.
then
They're your kids.
she'll do these labor references, and I'm like, ooh, what?
It's all good.
So,
Oh,
anyways,
so funny.
we digress, and this is what happens. We like to chit chat, but we really just want to wrap this up and say thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening, and bye for
Everybody,
now.
take care.